Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. Oh fuck, I already fucked this up. This is episode 240 of the show. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Joel Campos, and joining me is the Baldur Gate himself, Will Blackthorn,
Yes,
the
I have
Piano
been playing
Man,
that
23.
nonstop. How's it going?
Doing good. Yeah, you've been playing a lot of it. We'll talk about that in a bit. But this week we're going to talk about some Xbox news in regards to Baldur's Gate. Also talk about the fuck was that? Sorry, I don't know what that was. It sounded like something fell. We're also going to talk about um, where's my notes?
The Bears.
We're going to talk about the Bears. We're going to talk about Microsoft signing a deal with Ubisoft about cloud streaming, and Sony acquiring an audio company. Not even Sony, PlayStation. It's weird. But yeah, before we get into that, let's go through the whole rigmarole. You can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out our pin tweet there to find all of our social media links. That includes our Discord. Join our Discord. I posted a pretty sick video of me playing Halo earlier. I wasn't playing Halo earlier, but I posted the video earlier. I got my first grapple jack on a Banshee. It was pretty
Nice.
sick.
I'll
Pretty
have to check that
sick.
out.
So yeah, come hang out in the Discord. Say hey. That's my wife walking past the screen. Um, Will, it's hot as fuck.
Yes, yes, it is.
It's like really hot out,
I have been almost the entire time I've been home. I've been just relaxing in my basement because it is so much cooler down here.
dude. In so to preface this, like Will's down in Indiana, I'm in Chicago, and it's hot both places right now. Like hotter than normal, I would say.
Hmm.
These are probably the hottest days of the summer so far,
Easily.
at least up here. Like between yesterday and today, it's just been equally as hot. And of course, today's like one of the days, like the one day a month I have to go into the office, which sucked.
Of course.
Um, and we can't, so we have window AC units, and I can't
Hmm.
just leave them running all day if I'm not home because sometimes it trips the power. And if it trips the power, then my dog has no AC while I'm gone. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So we keep her in the bedroom with the AC in there on. But when I got home, Will, oh my god, it was like walking into like a humidifier. It was
Oh
so bad.
gosh, it's like
Like my
air scoop.
glasses were like fogging up. It just was not a good time. But yeah, it's like my car said it was 100 degrees. I feel like that's a little inaccurate. I feel like it's probably less than that by a bit. But still, super, super hot out.
Hmm. I think it hit upper 90s on the regular temperature, but the heat index down here was 111 today.
Like
It was
it's so
nuts.
hot to where it's like I don't think I want to play Baldur's Gate 3 tonight because my computer is probably gonna blow up.
Yeah, you might want to put an ice pack on top of it or something.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Um, but yeah, let's just get into the topic. Speaking of Baldur's Gate 3, last show we did, it was me
Hmm.
and Will, and we were talking about how this game has to come to Xbox one day. And
Yes.
that day is in the near future because this article comes to us by way of George Yang at IGN. The
Hmm.
title says Baldur's Gate 3 wins big concession, allowing it to launch on Xbox in 2023. Larian
Hmm.
Studios has announced that it's found its way to bring Baldur's Gate 3 to Xbox Series X and S players, and that the game will still be able to make it onto the platform this year. That's pretty
Nice.
big.
That's huge because I last I heard they were struggling to get it to work on the Series S,
So
and that's
here's
why
the
they delayed
thing.
it.
So here's the thing. They couldn't get split screen co-op to work on the Series S, and they still
Mm.
can't. They still
Mm.
can't. But Xbox, so they have this console parity thing where they make it a requirement to have, if you're releasing a game on Xbox Series X, it has to run exactly the same in terms of like same modes, same maps.
Hmm.
It has to run the exact same content on the Series S as well. And they are making an exception for Baldur's Gate 3 because they cannot get split screen co op to work on the Series S. Which, this is going to bring us like I don't know, it's like a weird conversation where Series S owners, they had to have known at one point or another they're going to get, kind of pushed to the side.
Yeah.
With not all games, like Madden is still going to constantly run on there probably until the
Oh, of
next
course.
generation, I'd imagine. But like, and like it's not, I wouldn't say that it's that Baldur's Gate 3 is like a crazy graphical achievement by any means. Like it looks great, don't get me wrong. Um, I think it's just a matter of the tech, right? Like getting
Hmm.
this stuff to work. Um, but yeah, console parity. Like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about Xbox making an exception? Do you think this makes them look bad or good in terms of what they're doing?
I I don't think it makes them look bad, and I think it's my reasoning is because we're already almost 3 full years into our now current gen, and usually after about 4, we start seeing the mid-gen refresh. We're getting to that point where games are starting to catch up to the hardware, and they're going to have to start advancing soon. So I'm not surprised it's happening, especially since the Series S was really just kind of a cheaper solution, a continuation of the One X as far as like power, but being able to handle more of the tech related things for next gen when it came
The
out.
solid state drive is the
Yeah,
main thing,
basically.
probably.
Yeah. So I'm not. I'm
Um,
not. I don't think it paints them in a bad light, but it does. If I were the head of Xbox, this would be lighting a fire under my ass to come out with a mid-gen refresh that just hits all bars right out of the gate.
so, what are your thoughts if they have a mid-gen refresh and they say, okay, from this point on, the Series S is not a requirement from studios to support,
Mm-hmm.
but like they have to make it transparent going in, like this is how it's going to run on Series S. But on Series X and I don't know, Series X Pro, whatever they want to call it, Series X Slim,
It's
whatever
gonna
it
be the
is.
Series XS and the
Yeah.
Series XX.
But on those two consoles, they will run exactly the same, more or
Hmm.
less. Like I think that
Hmm.
is probably the only way forward at this point. Granted,
Yeah,
like this is the only game we've heard of, Baldur's Gate 3.
true.
The only game we've heard of that they're not able to get it to work on both. And
I mean, they've also kind of skirted that line before when it comes to like fidelity on certain games, because obviously the Series S is less powerful. If they're boasting however many FPS for a certain title on the Series X, but the Series S is running it at a slower rate, I know that's not like a feature, but I mean they're already kind of skirting that line. But if if they come out with a mid gen and then they just redact that requirement, like you said with the Series S, I think it's going to be better for the developers more than anything else. Like that just seems like a win to me.
yeah, so I posted about this in the Pixel Street Discord earlier today. Cuz like I posted about it like as soon as it became news, more or less, as soon
Hmm.
as they tweeted about it. And one point I made is it makes me wonder what other games possibly have not come to Xbox at all because the the dev, whether they're big or small, was not able to get it to run on the S exactly the same, with all the
Hmm.
same game modes and functionality as the X.
Or
Um,
what games had to scale back their ambition to match the Series S?
yeah,
Like
like there's a lot
what
of
content did we miss?
possibilities. I'd be curious now that this story is public with like now that we know Baldur's Gate is getting an exception made to it to
Hmm.
allow them to release, because like no doubt Baldur's Gate 3 is probably I it depends on genre, right? It's probably like one of the
Hmm.
top 3 big releases of 2023. And
Hmm.
so of course Microsoft and Xbox are going to do whatever they can to get this game on their platform.
Yeah,
Um, Personally, I didn't think it was going to be coming this year.
I didn't
At
either.
this point, like I thought that it was like a beginning of next year, like spring thing.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, like games like I wonder what we're missing out of because of this. What I was gonna
Hmm.
say is I'd be curious to see now that we know that this game is getting an exception. I want to see if people like devs come out of the woodwork and are like, hey, yeah, like our game ran perfectly on the Series X, couldn't get
Hmm.
split screen to work on the Series S, couldn't get I don't know some game mode to work on Series S, so they wouldn't let us release on their console.
Yeah,
I'd be curious if we hear about any of that, which
I
I
I think
find
that would have been a lot
unlikely.
worse if they did that though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I feel like it's unlikely that any devs will come out and say that because I think Xbox is known for being very dev friendly,
Hmm.
and like trying to support devs a lot. But yeah, it would look really bad on them if like,
Yeah.
like if so, even if it was like a smaller dev, right? Like a
Hmm.
small like indie game. It's like, yeah, we couldn't get it to work the same way on the Series S as the X, so they wouldn't let us release the game.
I know one. Oh, what was his name? Someone from Nintendo, higher up dev, didn't really like poke fun at Xbox, um, but they said that they wished that when making their game there was only one console they had to make it for. Basically said like, hey, it's hard for devs to make things for multiple versions of a platform, whether it be current gen and previous gen, or the two different variations of the current gen, or what have you. Like, I get it. It's game development's hard.
But yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, like why it would be such a challenging obstacle.
Hmm.
I do think that Xbox, I don't know, like the Series S is like it's a great product for the price,
Hmm.
but it would be, I think it would have benefited them more to go the PlayStation route in terms of just having a disc and a discless SKU for the console.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We'll talk about Baldur's Gate 3 in a bit because we played a bit of it last night.
Yeah.
Microsoft has signed a deal with Ubisoft for Activision Blizzard King game streaming. Did you hear about this at all, Will?
I feel like I saw the article pop up in my notifications, but I didn't look into it because
Yeah, so
I
this
was
one,
curious about what Ubisoft is doing for game streaming.
yeah, so it's still like kind of like up in like I want somebody from Microsoft to clarify what exactly this means. But obviously, Microsoft is trying to acquire Activision Blizzard King,
Hmm.
and the UK right now is kind of holding them up. We're waiting for them to approve the deal for the acquisition to fully go through.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine, and I remember in the past, I think the UK brought up game streaming as a big thing, like,
Hmm.
and they don't want Xbox to have a monopoly over, I don't know, game streaming, I guess, and like gaming as a whole, game
Hmm.
development with all these huge monster titles. Um, so yeah, they kind of sold off the cloud gaming rights for the next 15 years to Ubisoft, and I don't know if that means Ubisoft is going to be in charge of like hosting the data servers for it, and then they get to
Hmm.
decide, and then it's only on an Ubisoft streamed. It's getting so confusing now with
It is like there's
like
way too many clauses in this deal right now.
yeah, if the only way I can stream Call of Duty campaign and play it is by like
Like making a
subscribing to
Ubisoft account.
Ubisoft, yeah, like it just sounds so weird to me. And like
Hmm.
I don't know if that's going to be the case or if it's going to be that Ubisoft owns the rights to it and they can say, say PlayStation comes in with a huge offer for millions and millions of dollars and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you all this money if we can have that on our PlayStation Now service or whatever." I forget what their
Yeah.
streaming service is called. I that's what I don't know. Like, are they just like the legal broker for it, so that Microsoft can say, "Hey, look, we're playing nice with everybody,"
Hmm.
or or am I gonna literally download like the Ubisoft Connect, like and subscribe $15 a month or whatever it is to
I
play
think we're going to
those?
start seeing a lot of these major publishers, whether it be Ubisoft, EA, well, now Microsoft with Activision Blizzard, starting to come up with their own streaming wars. You know,
I think
similar to
Ubisoft
like,
has one.
hmm
They have
but
they
like
have their own subscription.
pushing it as much as like Netflix.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I love game streaming when I'm like not at home and I want to play
Hmm.
like I don't know, nothing multiplayer heavy, like nothing. No, I'm not playing Destiny with it.
No, no,
Like I'm not
no.
playing
There's
Halo.
definitely some latency issues. I mean, you're going to have that with anything streaming, unless you're on 2 gig internet. But
Yeah,
there is a place for it. There really is. I actually have not done any game streaming since they started testing it like 3 or 4 years ago. I feel like it was around was it pre-COVID when the
It
The
was
Xbox cloud streaming was
it was
starting to come
pre-COVID
out.
because I
Hmm.
was in the office and it was only on Android devices, and I made
Yes.
Kenny let me use his phone at the
Hmm.
office so I could test it out. Um, but let's go into one quick news article real quick since we're talking about it.
Sure.
Samsung's 2020 smart TVs are getting cloud gaming apps by the end of this year.
Hmm.
You have one, don't you? Or is yours a 21?
Mine is, I believe, a 2021 model, if I remember correctly.
So you might
Which
already
they
even
they
have that capability.
I think so. I have not tried it, but I
You
also have a
should.
Series X plugged into it, so
But
yeah.
it's like you want to know, right? Like you want to like I'm
Yeah.
curious how that works because like the game streaming apps, it includes Xbox Game Pass. I think it
Hmm.
includes Nvidia GeForce. So technically, you could stream probably Baldur's Gate from your computer downstairs to that TV upstairs, which is interesting. I'm curious
I
how
will
that
have
would
to look
play.
into that. Yes. I don't know
Um,
how Hannah would like that, but 'cause that's her
yeah,
bedroom TV.
no. But it's just like I don't know. Like we're fucking nerds, right? Like we have all this
Right.
tech. We love testing stuff out. Um, yeah, I would love for you to try out at least Game Pass on it just to see how it
Yeah.
runs. Like I'm curious. Like what's the process of connecting a controller to your TV?
Bluetooth. So Samsung TVs have a Bluetooth connection setting, which a lot of people mistake it for like being able to pair headphones, which you technically can. It's not very good, but like you can connect like a mouse and keyboard to your TV, and you actually get a cursor on there to make it a little easier to browse as opposed to using your standard up, down, left, right buttons on your remote. So it has to be one of the Bluetooth enabled Xbox controllers for it to work. And then from there, you basically just log into your Xbox account. I've not tried it, but it seems very straightforward.
Okay, I'm still surprised we haven't seen like a little HDMI like Fire Stick type device from Xbox. I
Hmm.
know like a year ago, that's what everybody was projecting was going to come out by the end of the year.
Which is
But we still
weird
haven't heard
because
about
they
it.
have something similar to that for making your TV into a wireless monitor. It looks like a little Fire Stick that just plugs in to HDMI and USB for power. Um,
Hmm.
it's like 60 or 70 bucks, but it does a pretty dang good job on getting your full PC image cast over your Wi-Fi to an HDMI display of any kind, as long as you've got decent connection for Wi-Fi. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have something like that in the very near future.
Yeah. Moving on, Sony's PlayStation division is acquiring headphone maker. Oh fuck, I think it's Odyssey. Like
I
Odyssey,
I think
Odyssey.
Odyssey is right, yeah, or
Um,
Audezi or Audezi.
yeah, I don't know. So this
I
one
don't
comes from Jay Peters at The Verge. Sony is buying Odyssey to bolster its audio offerings, though the brand will still make products for multiple platforms. Sony Interactive Entertainment, the division of Sony that's responsible for PlayStation, is acquiring the high end headphone maker Odyssey, according to a press release. Sony says the acquisition will strengthen SIE's efforts to continue innovating when it comes to the audio experience of PlayStation games. Odyssey will operate independently and still make products for multiple platforms. Though Sony notes that it'll be benefiting from being a part of the PlayStation ecosystem. Terms of this acquisition weren't disclosed. So yeah, this is just a super high end um, headphone. Like it's for audiophiles pretty much.
know.
Um,
I'm curious to see where this is going to end up because obviously we know they're going to be making wireless headsets for the PlayStation and other
they already
PlayStation
have
peripherals.
them. This company's
Well,
already
I like
making gaming headsets.
for oh well,
Yeah,
maybe they just got really good reviews and they're like, you know what, I want a piece of that pie.
yeah. So on their website, like which I have up on my screen right now, front and center is it's called the Maxwell Ultraviolet Edition, and it says Xbox and PC gaming, and I believe it also works with PlayStation, or at least they have another headset that does. It's this one's $330,
Damn.
but if you go under their gaming, the LCD GX, this one's $900. Will this is a $900 gaming headset made by this company?
When your headset costs more than your console, Jesus.
Yeah, like that is an expensive fucking
Like
headset.
I'm all for hi-fi audio, but damn. Like, why?
Yeah, that is crazy high. Um, yeah, the other weird thing about this is another article that's a quick news article that we were going to talk about is um, Sony, like a few months ago, announced a wireless earbuds for the PlayStation 5. And
Mm,
just this past, like Tuesday, I think, um, like media outlet personalities got to get hands on with them, along with that handheld tablet thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's very interesting that they would announce that they're acquiring a major audio company after, like, these earbuds are already in development, like they're already being
mm-hmm.
produced because they're coming out in like a few months by the end of the year. So I doubt Odyssey had anything to do with these, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
these have probably been designed and tested and finalized for months, if not a year by now. So they
Yeah.
announced those, and they also announced a Pulse Elite wireless headset, which is just an upgraded version, I believe, of the current Pulse headset for the PlayStation
Mm-hmm.
5, which I love that headset a lot. It's really nice. But this one looks weird to me. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I don't like it as much as the other one. It's just very weird to announce an acquisition like this after, because it's almost like if I'm thinking of buying either of these new headsets as a consumer, like should I even be considering it, or should I wait 3 years for you to come out with an Odyssey Sony branded
Mm-hmm.
headset that is probably going to sound much better?
I think it's just ultimately going to be dependent on why they like the actual core reason as to why they bought that company. Like, did they buy it because they wanted to make different types of headphones for PlayStation, or did they just buy it because they liked it? Or was the company going under and Sony's like, you know what? No, you're not. I don't know.
The weird thing though is like I keep going back to it. Sony didn't buy them. The PlayStation
Or
division of Sony
PlayStation,
bought them.
Sony, yeah.
Yeah, it's so such a bizarre, like, I don't even know. It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to be fair, like Sony has a lot of good stuff going for it in terms of like 3D audio. Like
Mm-hmm.
playing games with that Pulse headset that I own on, like it sounds really good. And they use a lot of 3D audio stuff in VR. So I wonder if it's more so just to like, hey, teach us more, like help us develop games better for audio. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's the case. Like
Yeah,
we
they
we
could
have no
just be
clue.
hiring their audio engineers. Who knows?
Could be. All right, well, let's get into the quick news.
Mm-hmm.
Riffing off this PlayStation stuff, have you heard of the PlayStation Project Q, which was like the handheld tablet?
The thing that's supposed to like it doesn't actually play the games, but it streams it from your PS5.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it was called Project Q. Now it is called the PlayStation Portal,
Mm-hmm.
not the PlayStation Portable, as people have been calling it online.
Mm. So
Um,
technically, it's still a PSP.
Technically,
Mm-hmm.
it is $299, and basically all it is it's not an OLED screen. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an 8-inch screen that is wedged between. If you cut your DualSense controller in half,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it plays your PlayStation on it via Wi-Fi, I believe.
More than
They did
likely.
it. They
I
didn't.
doubt
They
it would be Bluetooth.
No. They did announce a new wireless thing they're working on that's going to come out with these headsets called PlayStation Link, I believe. But I don't know if this tablet is running off that same frequency or if it's
Hmm.
just audio that's running over that. I'm not 100% sure, but um, yeah, people who got their hands on said it worked really well for what it was. But to be fair, the people who tried it, like, were also at Sony's headquarters in a room that they probably
Right.
made sure there was no wireless interference anywhere near,
Yep.
at the time of
Commercial grade
testing.
Wi-Fi and.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I guess they did say that you can, like, if you were out of town, you could remote play
Mm-hmm.
your your PS5 from your house, like across the country, but it's obviously not going to be as good because you're over multiple Wi-Fi networks. At
Yeah.
that point, latency is probably going to be more extreme.
I
But yeah, that's
wonder.
$299.
Will it? I've not looked into the specs of it all. If you are streaming and obviously you're not playing it on your television, does it actually like change the fidelity of the game to allow for faster streaming? Like, does it reduce the resolution? Does it
I
get rid of
doubt it.
HDR?
I have no idea. The other thing that's very weird is for this Project Q, it does not have Bluetooth support. So you cannot pair Bluetooth headsets or headphones to this device. You have to either use a 3.5 millimeter jack or buy one of their headsets that's going to
Mm-hmm.
support this PlayStation Link wireless frequency, which is weird. I think that's a really, really weird and dumb decision in an age
It is a
where
little weird.
it's just weird because like people who are going to buy this device are probably people that want to use it to travel, and
Yeah.
they're probably also people who already have their AirPod Pros or whatever they use every day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to pack another set of earbuds with me just so I can maybe play remote play on this thing when I'm on vacation or something.
That's why you got to plan ahead. These and pretty much any type of headphone I buy, except for the earbuds I use for lawn mowing, have 3.5 plug-in,
Dude,
just
these
in
the
case.
Xbox ones don't have 3.5, which is very
Which is
surprising.
weird. I feel like that should at least be like it can't be that expensive to put that in for modern
Yeah.
devices. Like I know why they got rid of them for phones, just for the sake of space, but
Yeah.
like it's not an expensive piece of tech and it doesn't take up that much space. And we all know that most of the headphone space is just air. You got to be able to let that audio or let the air vibrate essentially. You
Yeah.
know, that you got the tech right here and then the rest is just padding.
Yeah. So, riffing off this as well, the earbuds that they announced are called the PlayStation Pulse Explorer. Those are going to
Mhm.
be on sale for $199, and the PlayStation Pulse Elite headset is $150, which I'm surprised. I kind of thought the earbuds would have been less than the like over ear headphones because that's
Mhm.
typically the case in most, I don't know, headphone markets, I'd say.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about gaming earbuds? Do you think you could use them?
I've not been a big fan of earbuds in general. I guess it depends on the type. The ones I have for like when I'm doing yard work or anything, I just bought a cheap pair of Raycons, and they've got like the silicone edges, but they'd like suction cup into my ear. So I feel like comfort for me is important, but other people might disagree on that. I can see how, at least as far as like storage, making it nice and small, easy to carry around, especially if the Project Q can be played out and about as long as you're connected to some kind of wireless network. Having something that's equally small to carry around could be pretty handy.
I mean, the Project Q doesn't look small, Will.
Well, it's smaller than a PS5.
Yeah, oh well, I guess yeah, relatively. Like for me, like I'm very interested in these earbuds just because
Mhm,
like I have beautiful beautiful locks under this hat. And there are
mhm.
times when I don't want to ruin those locks with a headset. I don't want
True.
the gamer dent in my hair, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like if I'm trying to play a game for like an hour before I go out to a bar or go out to meet some friends, like I don't want to ruin my hair. So like I'd be
yep,
into the earbud thing.
that's fair.
Um And as far as I know, you can't hook up like a Bluetooth headset to Xbox or PlayStation. Maybe PlayStation. I'm not 100% sure on that.
You
But
know, I've never tried.
Xbox for sure you cannot, because I
Mhm.
was trying to help my buddy David cuz he really wanted to use his Beats on his Xbox, but there was no way to do it. Which is really unfortunate.
You know, I'm
Um
surprised that I've not seen any of the game companies do is the bone conduction open ear route, where you can still hear everything around you, but it like vibrates into your head and you can still hear everything.
oh, the open back
Like
headphones.
the not dual shocks. That's the controller. Um, aftershocks. That's what I'm thinking of. Where it kind of just goes around the top of the ear and it's got the thing right there by your temple.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's really weird. Like that
yeah.
we're not the we're,
They're not there
that's that
yet.
no that sounds like something they would have tried in 2004.
Yeah.
Like
Well, being able to hear around you can be pretty handy. I get the appeal for noise canceling, but there's an equal market, in my opinion, for things that does the opposite. You know, be able to have that ambient noise pumped in as well. I don't
yeah.
know. Maybe I'm an outlier.
Yeah, so next piece of quick news, Armored Core 6 reviews are out now. It's
Mm,
getting really good reviews.
that's good. I've never played an Armored Core game, but I'm tempted. I'm very tempted.
Neither have I. I'm trying to look up the Metacritic right now.
The
It's
Metacritic.
sitting at an 87.
Really? That's good. I feel like
87.
everything lately has been, aside from Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, I feel like everything's been like 70 or lower.
Yeah, I'm trying to see because this says for PS5. Let's see, PC is 87. Series X is 79. I never understood stuff like that, why it's different, but yeah, 87. That's a pretty high score.
Yeah.
Everything I've been hearing, I was listening to a few podcasts at work today. People that have played it said that it's a really cool game. Like, they pretty much said if you like mechs, you'll love this game.
Now, does it come with the Souls-esque difficulty?
That I don't know, but I mean, most games nowadays have like they're pretty good on difficulty like modifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd assume that if you put it on easy, you could probably get through it pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes with that Souls X esque difficulty like you're thinking of. Like it might be a difficult game, but I don't think it's like repeatedly dying and redoing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. To learn the
At least
attack patterns and
from
everything.
yeah, like from the reviews I've heard and read, it didn't sound like that was the case. Um, Blessing from Kind of Funny was saying that like the missions are super quick, like anywhere from
Hmm.
5 to 16 minutes, and like
Oh,
so it was a very easy game to like jump in and out of, right? Like play a mission or two, and then go do something else, and then come back to it. So
that's
that's
nice.
kind of intriguing to me. On top of the fact that like it's been on sale for like $45 already, like through Ant Online, I think it was had it on sale
Mm-hmm.
the other day. So yeah, I feel like this is a game that'll probably go down to like $30 around Christmas time, and that's probably when I'll pick it up and try it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, sorry, taking a drink.
You're good.
This one you added, Will. Netflix cloud gaming is limited to 720p on TVs. That
Mm-hmm.
is not good news.
Well, it's so they just started testing. So the from at least from the article here, they just started testing it in the UK and in Canada, and there's only two games you can play right now. Let me see if I can pull up what games those are because I've not heard of them. Oxenfree and Molehue's Mining Adventure.
Oxenfree is a
Basically,
super popular game.
really, oh, indie game,
Indie
probably.
game. It's made by the same dev that made. Hold on, I'm trying to figure that out. Night School Studio. What else did they make? Fuck. Oh, they made After Party. Um, on the Xbox. I don't know if you played that. That was a good game.
I did not.
Um, yeah.
But long story short, they just started testing, and my guess is they want to start testing at lower fidelities just to see if the tech works. But pretty much in the UK and in Canada, almost every major TV esque platform has it except for Apple TV devices. So Fire TV, Android TV, Google TV, LG WebOS, Roku, and Samsung Tizen have it. So we'll see. I know Joe Staten was sniped from Microsoft to be, was it their head of creative or head of something at Netflix Gaming last year, right around the
Yeah, I'm
time when
not
all that
sure.
stuff with 343 was going on. But it'd be interesting to see what comes of it.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm just interested to see what cloud gaming brings in the future in general. Just because like there are so many people who like can't afford gaming consoles,
Yeah.
but they could afford $1 to try a month of Game Pass, right, on their
Yeah.
TV, for instance, and maybe that'll be enough to like bring them into the ecosystem and have them subscribed every month.
Right. Just go buy a cheap controller from Disc Replay as long as it's got Bluetooth, and you're good to go.
Exactly. That's going to be a whole other thing. How many controllers are going to get returned because it's like the old SKU of
Ooh.
Xbox One controller?
Mm-hmm. I can see that being a
Will,
problem.
do you have any collectibles to show off? I'm trying to think.
Nothing,
Oh, I do.
nothing new. I know I showed a weird one last week. I don't have anything new, or at least nothing within immediate range that I believe is noteworthy. Just a bunch of
So
Halo stuff around me.
I paid like $20 for this copy of Pokemon Yellow at a flea market.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
very nice.
pretty nice. I was looking into trying to find like a replacement sticker for the front because it's like all worn.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I haven't decided if I want to do that yet. So I got that, and at the flea market, I also bought a new computer case, which I was telling you about last night.
Yes, and
It's
I
sweet.
looked at the wrong photo, and I was like, "Why does it look like it's all dusty and snowy?" And I looked at the tag, and it was John's.
Yeah, it was John's like dusty ass computer. That thing's scary. That thing's scary. That thing's gonna start a house fire. He needs a
Yeah, probably.
John. If you're watching this somewhere, you need to get that under control, please.
Get some
Um,
dust filters at least.
yeah. Let's talk about what we've been playing. I'm gonna briefly talk about Final Fantasy 16 because I am like on the last mission. I think I thought I was
Mm,
on the final boss last night. Apparently, I wasn't. But I'm at like 86% through the game now. So I think I'm like right there, like one or two missions, and I'm done with the game. That game is just great. Like it's beautiful. The combat is amazing. The
mhm.
story is phenomenal. Like that story is so good. Like this is definitely gonna be probably one of my top two games of the year, easily.
Nice.
Just because like I love Final Fantasy. That world's great. This game is like it. It's so weird because when you think of JRPG, you think of like Final Fantasy VII, where you're looking through items all the time. Like, what spell am I going to cast this turn? Stuff like that. And this game is just so drastically different from what people think a JRPG is. Like, when you just say JRPG, you think of, like I said, like a turn based game. And this is
Yeah.
just so drastically different from that. And I like this so much more than I like the turn based stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, the turn based stuff is great. Like I love playing Octopath Traveler, but this is just I don't know. It's so good. It's so good. Will
You should stream the last bits of the game.
I don't know if I want to do that because then that'll be on the channel and it's just like the end of the game. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
Skip
I don't
straight
want
to
to
the
be the
ending.
ones. Yeah, I don't want to be the one spoiling it. But yeah, playing that. Will, let's talk about Baldur's Gate.
Yes. 'Cause since since I was last on here, was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah. Uh, I have not touched any other game. That is all I've been playing.
That says a lot because to be
Mhm.
fair, 2 weeks ago you didn't even own this game.
No,
Your
we
basement was
sniped it
flooding.
on the stream last time. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. It
we were
was.
gonna buy
I had
it.
to air it
And,
out.
yeah, we were gonna buy it, and then your basement flooded, and then the next day you bought it and downloaded it,
Mhm.
and that's when we started playing. Um, and we kept playing last night. You played a lot of a different character you had made in the past 2 weeks, but we picked up where we left off again last night. And that game, it's so like the depth in that game is insane.
Mhm.
Like you could walk up to anybody in a town, and it could just randomly start like it won't tell you started a side quest, but the guy will hint at like, "Oh yeah, I saw some fucking fairy out in the woods to the north, the northwest." And
Mhm.
then you go over there, and then there's like these cult people. Like it's just like it's mind blowing how much detail and thought was put into everything you can do in this game. Like every piece of
Everything.
dialogue has meaning of some sort, whether it's really dumb and funny or like serious and meaningful to the story.
Mhm.
For instance, me and you last night we came across two people near a dead body and asked them what's going on, and then we read the dude's mind, right? Like no, he went into our mind and was like talk. It was like a little bit of back and forth, and
Mhm.
then he told the two people he was with like, oh, this is like I don't even know, like the savior or something, and then they thought I was their
Uh,
god.
yeah.
I forget what it
True
was.
souls. True souls.
True souls, yeah. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, he's a true soul, and then they thought I was like their god, and then I said something that pissed them off, and then they tried killing us. Like
Yep.
so stupid, but it's so fun. It's so
Mhm.
addicting. This game is. I haven't even played that much. I probably played like 5 hours total. I don't know, something like
Mhm.
that, and it's so good. I can't wait to play more. It's honestly a shame that Starfield comes out next weekend because
Mhm.
like I want
It's
to
gonna
play
be a
more
rough
of
couple
this.
months bouncing back and forth between those two.
Yeah, I want to play this more, but I know once Starfield hits, like I'm gonna dive deep in. I'm gonna dive deep into Starfield. I got the headset. I got the controller. I'm
Mhm.
diving deep, head
Did you get the
first into
watch?
Starfield. No, I have an
No.
Apple Watch. I'm too invested in the Apple ecosystem. That watch does look cool, though. I will say that.
Mhm.
I think that might be. one of the coolest collector's editions that has possibly ever come out.
Like, actually a functional item. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. Most of them, like for instance, Fallout 4, a Pip Boy that you can slide your phone into, kind of
Hmm.
functional, but also like you're not gonna wear that in public, right? Like you're gonna wear that
Right.
to a comic convention somewhere, but you're not
Hmm.
gonna wear it to the mall. Whereas like the watch, the watch actually looks cool. I think it looks
Hmm.
awesome. If I didn't have a smartwatch, I would probably consider it, but again, I'm too invested in the ecosystem. I'm excited to see videos of people unboxing that thing, seeing what it can do. I'm curious if people hack it in any way, like
Hmm.
just out of curiosity. I don't know. I like I said, I just love tech, and it's cool to watch stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll talk more about Baldur's Gate, I'm sure. I'm
Oh yeah.
curious how long the story. Like, if I were to mainline the story in that game, I'm gonna look it up. I wonder how long it is.
I want to say somebody said 50, not 50. No. Somewhere between 30 and 50, I think, is the average playtime. I keep getting distracted from all the other nonsense that's in the world because I'm bouncing back and forth between. So I've got my single player character and I got my co-op character in your game, and then I started another character where Hannah and I are kind of going back and forth on choosing the path and everything like that. I think Steam said I'm like 27 hours total log time so far. I'm still in Act One. I have such bad ADD with that game. I
That's
want to
crazy.
explore. I want to go see all the different things. Earlier today, I found a separate area in the southern portion of the map where I go down into this bog and there's this little frog. I say little, it's like this big. And I tried to talk to it and it got really pissed off and started spewing really damaging acid at me. And I could not, for the life of me, hit it with any attack. I died. All four of my characters died to a little frog, and I had to reload.
All
So I'm like,
right,
all right,
all
well,
right.
avoid the bog.
Yeah. Avoid the bog or bring fire.
Basically. Oh, that's the thing. I was shooting fire bolts at it and it was missing every single hit. It had like some kind of magical resistance on it. I'm sure it's important to some weird ass quest I haven't found yet. But yeah, I got my ass whipped by a damn frog.
Yeah, I like, and the thing about this game too is like I've never played D&D, but I imagine like it's a ton of fun just based on playing this game.
Mhm.
Like
It
it's
makes me want to find a group, honestly, and
yeah,
try to learn.
yeah, yeah. And like the fact that I don't know, like people could treat this game as their Dungeons and Dragons campaign, right? Just say
I
like,
would
"Hey,
not be surprised if you see a fan made, or if someone's already tried to start making one, an actual campaign that you can download
like a mod."
online.
Yeah.
Well, not even a mod, just like an actual like uh dungeon master like campaign sheet. Like, hey,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
there's your fucking table. Dungeon master sits behind his little trifold, and you're playing Baldur's Gate in your mind. I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just thinking about this game in general. Like, people could treat this as like, all right, every Sunday we're going to get together at 6 o'clock and play our Baldur's
Ooh,
Gate campaign for 2 hours.
that's what you mean. And yes, I see that as well. Because that, well, I mean, that we kind of touched on that yesterday when we were playing. Because like we haven't done a full four-player co-op yet, and I'd love to see how that plays out with like an actual party as opposed to with NPCs.
Yeah, it like I just think it'd be hilarious because like you never know what the other person's doing in your party,
Hmm.
right? Like you could wander off on your own and do some goofy shit. We went to a
Hmm.
town that had a windmill with a guy strapped to it. I hit the wrong lever. I wish I was streaming that so bad. There were two levers right next to each other, and I only saw the one. And I just clicked it right away, and
You
it
saw
was
the word
like,
break, and it was
yeah,
release break.
yeah, it was release break, and this dude went flying off a windmill and probably died. I don't know. It's very possible that we run into this guy later, and he's like, "Yo, you're the fucking
Oh,
guy." Like
we'll
that's
have
how
to see
ridiculous.
which direction the windmill was spinning, and we'll just walk in that way and see if we find his body
Yeah,
or something.
that like that's literally how ridiculously in depth this game is. That would not surprise me if we ran into
Mhm.
this dude who went flying off a windmill. But I have How Long to Beat Up, and the main story average is 42 and a half hours.
Okay.
Uh, Main and sides 82 hours. Completionist 116 hours. and the average between all styles of people that have completed the game is 81 and a half hours. That is a
Oh my
lot of video game.
god. Okay. At least I know why I'm still in Act 1.
Yeah, it's a lot of game. The other game I've been playing is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This came out this week on Xbox Game Pass. It's also on PlayStation 5 and PC, I believe.
Mhm.
Um, it is
Is that like
it
the
is
4v1 survival horror type dealy?
yes and no. So it's very much it's made by the same people that made the Friday the 13th video game uh, a while back, where it is an asymmetrical like horror game, but
Mhm.
this is interesting because it's 4v3. There's four victims trying to escape, and there's three people trying to kill them. You have Leatherface, which is the main Texas Chainsaw guy, and me and my friends that have played together, like John played with me, none of us knew that there was anybody other than Leatherface as a bad guy in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But
Mhm.
apparently, the whole family is evil because you play as the family members. Like those are the bad people.
Oh.
So Leatherface has to be in every game no matter what. The game won't start unless one of the bad guys is Leatherface. And then you
Mhm.
could choose between the different family members. I think there's four of them total, other than Leatherface. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, and then so basically, we've been having fun playing the killers because me personally, every time I play like Dead by Daylight with friends, like
Mhm.
none of us are the killers because we want to play together, right? Like
Mhm.
we want to work as a team together to like escape. Whereas like this is fun because there's three people that can be the killers in this game. So we've been queuing up as the killers and having a blast, like trying to trap people and keep them from escaping.
Nice.
Um, yeah. So when you're the family that is trying to kill, you, I don't even know how to explain it. Like everybody has different abilities. You can unlock abilities. You can upgrade your stats, like your stamina, and this goes for the victims too. It's very
Mhm.
much like Dead by Daylight in the sense of like upgrading your character, and then your stats change. You can pick new skills, stuff like that. But when you're the killer, you have Grandpa there, and he's
Mhm.
on in the game every time. Just sits in a chair, and like this is the funny thing is like none of us knew the Texas Chainsaw lore, so we were like just trying to figure out like what is Grandpa's role in all this. He just sits there in the chair. You feed him blood, and then he reveals where people are depending on how high of a level you get him. Um,
That's
but
fucked
yeah,
up.
yeah, it's a ton of fun. I've been having fun with it. It was a game that like when I saw that it was out this week, I was like, like maybe I'll download it if like John or somebody wanted to play it.
Mhm.
But like now I'm like very glad I did because it actually is a good time. It's definitely not something I would ever play alone,
Mhm.
but I've been having a ton of fun playing it with other people.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for episode 240 of the Pixel Street podcast. As always, follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out our pinned tweet there where you can join our Discord server. Come say hi, send us a picture of your dog, show us your cool Halo clips like I did today with my grapple jack. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pixel Street videos. Come say hi. We stream the show live there every week on Wednesday or Thursday night. Typically Thursdays lately, but you never know. You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63. Will, thanks so much for joining us. Where can people find you on the World Wide
Uh,
Web?
well, I mean, it's been a while since I've been on Twitch, but with how much I've been getting back into gaming again, I will probably start streaming again. But my Twitch handle is twitch.tv/thepianoman23.
Cool. We'll be right back here next week with episode 241 of the Pixel Street podcast. Bye.